And there's a nip to the air. So let's get this going. Hey, girls. Let's get your snacks. Whee! All right, and now a doorstop. Whoosh. And not tipping over. There we go. Yes, there is absolutely a nip to the air today that has not been present before this year. We've had an extremely mild autumn. Canadian prairies, usually it would have been a little colder during the day before this, but for the most part, September has been feeling pretty summery still. During the day, overnight, and in the mornings, there's been a nip to the air, but a little bit colder, down to the, single digits overnight in Celsius. And, so not so much frosts yet, but, still feeling cool in the evenings and whatnot. But it's still been kind of unseasonably warm during the day for here. But autumn equinox was the other day, and nature sure got the memo. And yeah, we've got, it's like what, 13, 14 degrees as a high today. I think it's 12 right now. But yeah, definitely feeling quite autumny today. And I'm not used to that yet. Chickens don't seem to care. They've got their nice little, they've got feathers to keep warm. Excuse me. And but yeah, cold air is something I've got to get used to again. Man, not taking long talking before my throat's starting to feel the effects of talking in cooler temperatures. So this is probably not going to be a very long stream, just because there is a nip to the air and I want to go back inside where it's warm. But it's not so bad. We can shake, my girls. Yes, we can. Hi, Benny. How you doing today? You're still getting along for the most part. You're not, if you're getting picked on a little, you're at least not getting beat up about it, because you don't have any injuries, so that's good. So yes, thank you, Georgie, for being tolerant, and thank you, Benny, for not completely freaking out over other chickens being near you, I say, as Priscilla starts getting close. No freaking out now, okay? Just enjoy your grazing. Yes, let's get eggs. Let's get eggs while we're out here. One of these days, I will put a hook on this thing so that it's a lot easier to do this one-handed. So 2, 4, and 6. 6 for 6. Thanks for the food. Thank you for the food, girlies. I appreciate you. And you say yes. Hey, what was that about? Hello, Angie. How's it going? These are my girls. That's Georgie and Duchess and Priscilla and guess what? And Chicken Butt. And running around on the outside, that's Benny. When are you going to cook them? Well, I'll cook the eggs. Well, maybe not today because I have eggs from other days that I'm going to eat first. You know, earlier in, earlier out. These are not meat birds. Um, they're my laying hens. They are companionship and entertainment and egg providers and compost assistants. And I have a small microgreens business, so they're my they're my waste management. I'm not gonna cook Benny. Benny is reintegrating just fine with the rest of the flock. And you know, a couple moments aside, but she gets away when she needs to. We will not be cooking Benny. We will just enjoy Benny's company along with the rest of the girls. Yes, because you're fine. Aren't you, sweetheart? Yes, you're fine. You can just live a happy little chickeny life. You better be talking about eggs. All these people, can I eat one? Eggs. I do give or sell excess eggs to kind of family and friends, neighbors, whatnot. But no, adamantly, these are not meat birds. These are essentially pets. No, no, you cannot eat my chickens. That's right. Guess what has something to say about that, don't you, honey? No one can eat you. That's right. Aw, dang it. Yeah, you'll live. You'll live. You can source your meat elsewhere. Does not have to be from my backyard companions. We'll see if they try and if they keep trying to dig up the spot where I tossed the mealworms the other day. How can how can I get eggs, Donkey Donuts? Well, I'm not doxing myself, so I'm not going to say where you can find me for eggs, but I'm pretty sure that a grocery store in your local area can fix you up, or you know, find some local hen keepers and make some arrangements. And depending on where you are, if you are somewhere where eggs are ridiculously expensive, you know, if you find a small backyard flock owner, possibly a trade food scraps for eggs, or whatever, I'm sure you could work something out. If you're not able to set up for keeping chickens yourself, because they are work, and they are different to take care of than like cats, your typical cats or dogs. But I find it worth it to have chickens on a number of levels. Just they enrich my life. Isn't that right, Priscilla? Yes. Yes, we enjoy your company, my love. Hello, Eva. How are you? Georgie is still, very focused on trying to find any extra mealworms that might be in that spot that I dumped them the other day. You got them all, my love. You did. You and the rest of the girls were very thorough in gobbling them up very quickly. There were no escapees. I mean, yeah, you do you, boo. I'm sure there are other bugs in that area, but there are no more mealworms in that spot. Oh well, you're close enough to the edge of where the wood chip path around the enclosure starts taking over. You can scratch up that part of the lawn, I guess. Silkworms are great to feed also. Hmm. I'll maybe look into that. Yeah, mealworms are so easy to raise. So I don't know if I'd want to branch out to other insect species at this juncture, but man, mealworms are easy. How about crickets? Huh. I hadn't thought about those either. Do you raise them like for chicken feed? Do you raise them past like a pupa stage, like to the actual like full grown? Because I imagine that would get loud and messy very quickly. Live on a slice of orange, huh? I'll have to look into that because maybe, I'm all about giving these girls a nice varied diet so that they can be as healthy as possible and I can get the most delicious eggs possible. Delicious, nutrient dense eggs. Melons turn into beetles. Crickets live a good length of time. I will look into that. Hi, Benny. Why are you freaking out, huh? You got away. Which styles mealworms? They're just like you're not like the super worms, just the basic um um kind of like basic meal. I got a little container of, I don't know, 50 or 100. Yeah, just like little regular ones from PetSmart a while ago, and I set up a bin and let all of the ones that I bought develop into beetles and just have like a little um, self-sustaining ecosystem. Yeah, exactly. I have a worm farm um, just inside my house. So I have a little worm farm, and every once in a while I sift through the bins and kind of sort through and toss a few extra pupa into the beetle bin, and take out the worms and toss the largest filter size that catches the worms. Any of the ones that are caught at that level get tossed to the chickens, and then any of the littler ones that fall through to lower levels of the sifting trays, those just get tossed back into the worm bin and left to grow a bit bigger. And sometimes I'll get distracted and I'll leave it a little longer, and then they get they get more pupas than worms sometimes if I've left it a little long, but or and then sometimes the beetles will have cannibalized themselves a little bit, and so I just save more pupa to kind of replenish things. But yeah, I've looked into doing like the soldier fly larva as well because those that also seems like, I've seen setups that are like pretty self-sustaining, but it's really a seasonal thing. I'm not sure how well that would work indoors. Um, where like in my house, I don't know, because the usually like the substrate and whatever, like the composting material that you put in them is a little bit, I don't know, juicier, and I don't want to have, fruit fly issues inside my house over the winter. But yeah, absolutely wouldn't be able to do um, like the soldier fly larva would not be able to set that up here for over the winter. Just not, it does not work in my climate. Would be a summer thing only, and I just can't be bothered. Whereas mealworms, they don't, you know, they don't take up a whole lot of space. They're the wheat bran substrate that they're in. It's nice and dry, and like all they need is carrot or potato or other kind of not super squidgy vegetable in there to get hydration and other nutrients. So that's why I landed on mealworms, just because they're so easy and they don't take much um, effort and space wise. And then they give my goodies a nice snack, and I end up with mealworm frass as fertilizer for the garden as well. Not that I've been a super like diligent gardener this year. Definitely dropped the ball, but the chickens enjoyed scratching through it at least. Refrigerate them to keep them dormant. Interesting. That's cool. Speaking of refrigeration, I think I might want to go inside and stop streaming because I'm getting a little cold. I'm just wearing a sweater. I should have worn gloves or brought a blanket or something outside. Um, I was not really prepared for it to suddenly be autumn today. Um, so, yes, I hope everybody has a good rest of your day and stay nice and cozy warm if you can. And I'm going to go do that myself. Maybe have a hot drink. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Catch you later. Bye.